Hope you guys are having a great day. I was actually intending on putting out a different video, but I'm involved with a stock that just made a reverse split, and people on the message boards are freaking out. And I wanted to put some things into perspective. Yes, a reverse split could be the death of a stock. People hate it, but let's break it down and take a look at what's really going on in a reverse split. Because for the most part, you have people just leaning on each other, complaining and whining and talking about all the horrible stuff that happens when you have a reverse split. Let's not get emotional. Let's just be practical and understand what takes place. First of all, you have a certain amount of shares outstanding. And when you make a reverse split, the one nice thing about it is that you have that much less shares outstanding. So if you say you have 100 million shares of a stock and then you reverse split it 10-1, now you have 10 million shares. That means that you have something now that's more in demand. The less you have of something, the more demand there is for it. And the less shares there are out there, the quicker the moves can be. Now, yeah, that means it could get hammered, but you want to take a look at the reason. Quite often, a reverse split, which is mostly done with penny stocks, is not the greatest thing. But I mean, the most common thing I hear people saying is, I'm going to wait until right after and then I'm going to jump back in. And what are you doing? Like, what's your thought process? When you're in a stock, you're in there for a reason. If you don't have a reason anymore, get out. If you do have a reason, why would you want to get in right as there's turmoil? That's like saying, okay, I want to trade stocks. I'm going to jump in and trade at 9:30 a.m. That's when the best traders and the institutions come out with their orders and all the manipulation and the most dangerous things happen. You don't jump into a stock right after a reverse split. Why? Because you're supposed to have your thumb on the pulse. And the interesting thing about a reverse split is that even though the price changes and the stock thins out, the personality stays the same. Every stock has a personality. And when you're trading a stock for a while, and as I've said, you get familiar with level 2, you get a feel for that personality. And it's really cool how it plays over when you have an 80-cent stock and now all of a sudden it splits, 20 for 1 and it's $16, but you still have familiarity. I think that what happens a lot of times is that people get stuck on when it starts trading sideways or it sinks a little, and people just start getting all nervous based on just like a momentary situation. If a stock trades sideways in any given situation, you give it time. You see what's going to happen, but you don't start messaging everybody and calling all your friends and making long-term predictions, which happens all too often in the message boards. If you know that a stock is reverse splitting and right before they announce it and then an insider buys, which we're going to talk about insider buying and how much attention we need to pay to it in a future video. But when you see a few things happening, like an insider's buying before the reverse split, and they're planning on joining some sort of prestigious organization like the Russell 3000 or whatever, there are things cooking. If you are familiar with your stock and you know it and you like it, don't be nervous. Don't be like one of these people that are like, oh, they've reverse split 100 times before. Let's take a look at the company now. Who's running it? What's going on with it? What are their plans and intentions? What is the goal of this reverse split? A lot of times, the reason reverse splits are so bad is because straight up, quite frankly, they're doing it so that, yeah, they can just start selling shares again on the open market and start just, grinding more money out for themselves. Yeah, if that's the kind of stock you're in, you might want to consider picking better stocks, which we will also talk about in a future video. But if there's a reverse split for a good reason, hold on, give it a moment, and don't make all of your future prediction based on that first day or few days of what happens. By the way, it's always good to have in limit orders, as I have said, because you never know what'll happen. A stock that reverse splits could go up 100, 200% during the day, after hours. Always have your limit orders in. But my point is that when you get involved in penny stocks, it is very, very often that reverse splits happen, and you shouldn't have like this self-fulfilling prophecy in making failed trades. How many times do I see a stock goes from $2 to $1 and people are like, you see? But meanwhile, I'm like, what are you talking about? That thing ran up to $5 after hours 3 times in the last week. We're making money. If you're not trading right, that doesn't mean the stock isn't acting right. You need to act in accordance to how you can make money in a situation, in anything in life. And basically, that's the whole point of this video, is that when you have a reverse split, you got to look at the reasons, you got to look at the outcome, you got to look at the future, and don't get caught in that moment. There are trades happening every second. It can be very stressful and very misleading. You need to be knowledgeable, and that's why you need a mentor of any sort, even if it's not a direct mentor, somebody you follow, which we're also going to get into. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. But the point is that a reverse split in and of itself, not the most exciting thing in the world, but not always a disaster. Hey, I have a stock that made a reverse split and it's been trading sideways ever since. The mixture of that can drive some people mad. But when a stock trades sideways, you have to know what to do with it, which we will discuss in another video. I'm really looking forward to, putting these videos out, because I think there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of people trading on emotion. And again, I'd love to hear your comments so that I know how to make future videos and to see what you guys are feeling. And I hope this makes sense. I hope it shed a little bit of light. And I am looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Have a great one.